Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring 2020. I'm Atlas, and I am joined by Lost Speech, the commentator that we have not seen for many a moon, but finally he has graced us with his presence once again for another glorious triple best of 3 day. LS, how you doing, man?
I am doing okay. This was my first long break off in a regular casting split, not like the Corona hiatus that we ended up having.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, Alice.
It was new. I noticed that, you were in chat keeping us all company throughout most of it. I know that everyone was wondering whether or not you were dead, and then you'd type in chat, and I'd still get questions in the chat saying like, oh, is he alive? Is he alive? And I'm like looking at your name like right there on the screen. Like, I don't know, people tend to freak out, man, but thankfully you are back ready to prove everyone that you're alive.
I'm totally okay. I had to make sure to stay in chat throughout all the matches.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm looking forward to is how this split is obviously going to wrap up.
Yeah.
As we had the exciting series against Gen.G versus T1 yesterday, and I thought that was interesting because it looked like T1 just completely outclassed Gen.G in the last 2 games and basically every facet of the game.
And, like, even in game 1, like, honestly, Gen.G won because they failed to kill Ruler and he was down to, like, 1 health when they were diving a turret, right? Like, and then he Aphelios them. And honestly, like, if you Aphelios someone, is that really a true victory?
No, it's absolutely not true victory, Atlas. As we take a look at the standings, T1 and Gen.G are now tied up, but Gen.G does still have the points lead. We're going to see Dragon X play later on tonight. And KT and Afreeca, I mean, they are pretty neck and neck for the left-hand side, but KT is on a tear so far this split, as they're potentially chasing after third, Atlas.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. If they manage to beat DRX in our final match of the day, which absolutely is our match of the day, KT will be even. Not on points, so DRX will still have third place over them. But it is just insane that KT went on a 5-match losing streak at the start of the season and have now won 8 matches in a row. It's just nutty. They did drop a game to Griffin, though. So, look, it could have been cleaner, but the same can be said for Dragon X, who dropped a game to Sandbox.
No, absolutely. As points of the match, we're going to have APK versus Afreeca. Afreeca no longer a top contender. Can they stop the losing streak against the bottom team, APK? And APK has the hope to get out of the relegation zone. A clean 2-0 win against Sandbox. Time to roll up against the 4th match win. And I feel like APK isn't super unfavored against Afreeca the way that most people would probably think. I think that they've had a lot of surprising wins so far in the LCK. And that's really been their story here in Spring 2020 is a lot of people thought they would come in and get instantly re-relegated and sort of take on Jin Air's mantle. And while it was looking like that initially, they really turned things around in the middle part of the split, and their games looked a lot closer than a lot of the other bottom-standing teams.
And I actually think this has a lot to do with their bottom lane, because you can see this last point here about Hybrid. His first in DPM, 835 on average. I think the second highest is like low 700s or even high 600s. Like, it's crazy the amount that this guy has been doing in round 2. And I love that we did on the broadcast to explain to us, his thoughts behind Hybrid, because I think he knows him from solo queue, has, stayed up with what Hybrid's been doing. And he was really excited to see him here in the LCK and was disappointed about his performance in round 1. But now in round 2, it's like a completely different beast. And speaking of round 2, look at these stats. APK is first in so many different areas.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little interesting. First, tower percent, 83.3%. First place. Team damage per minute, they are first in the league, as Afreeca is actually very low in that department. KDA, Afreeca also very low there. And average game time, both of these teams, though, are some of the longest. So, Atlas, I'm hoping for a 4-game series here between these two in this best of 3.
Well, I mean, APK have been a part of our fastest game in the spring split and also our longest game. in the spring split. One against Sandbox, their fastest, which was like 22 minutes, and then the longest one, which was 55 minutes or something like that against Damwon earlier in the day. And that's why those DPM numbers are so damn high, because they had their top lane and AD doing like 67,000 damage in that series. But we're checking out the lineups here on Afreeca's side. No changes. Dread not going to be starting off here, but Ben is in instead of Jelly. So we have got the full WE collection here for the Afreeca Freecs.
And let's see what it's going to end up doing for them here today in the bot lane. Spirit is going to be kicking things off for Afreeca, and they're going to be on blue side. So let's see what the draft has in store. Obviously, APK can get very tricky on the red side, mostly because of Ixu and just the way that they do tend to draft. It is going to be Hybrid and Secret starting for APK's lineup, and Cover retaining his spot in the mid lane. Haven't seen Kaney actually in quite a while, so let's see what they can do against Afreeca. I feel like Hybrid and Secret probably going to get put to a test here as we take a look at the key player matchup.
Oh my god.
Hybrid has some nice stats.
His damage per gold stat is just insane. Like, what is that? Oh my god. These are his stats over the entire spring split, by the way. If you're looking at round 2, that was the stats from the points of the match, where Hybrid has gone up to like 850 damage per minute, which is first in the league. But even including the rest of the split, Hybrid is still in first place, just due to how incredibly good he's been throughout this particular round. Also doing 34% of his team's damage, and that's with Ixu doing a whole lot of work on his Alawi in recent matches. So this is a team that's actually starting to be really interesting to look at. And yeah, they're 9th place right now, but they could be increasing. I mean, honestly, right now, this APK lineup looks better than Sandbox.
No,
so
really,
theoretically, they shouldn't be in the relegation zone.
Yeah, so APK, I think, is actually favored against most of the teams on the right-hand side at this current point in time. As we're going to take a look at some of the highlights. This was Afreeca versus Sandbox. This is when Summit was still playing.
Yeah.
Did you ever find out, Atlas, last I spoke with you, you said you were going to look into maybe why Summit isn't playing.
I spoke to Widit about it, and he doesn't know either. None of us know. I mean, Widit and I got really tilted during the series Sandbox, I think, versus DRX yesterday. We were like, why isn't he coming back? I mean, all of these Aatrox picks were coming, and it was just lonely, not really finding himself, and Summit wasn't there to come to the rescue. It was, in fact, Punch that was helping out. His Gragas was fantastic yesterday, but they could have really done with their hard carry up towards the top side of the map.
Well, definitely something to look forward to is Summit's potential return. We're any day now. You know the skeleton
I know, right?
meme? We're just gonna wait for Summit to reappear. But
do you think it's like, it might be like Uzi, like they're giving him time off to recharge, because they're like, all right, well, spring split is a wash, we're screwed. Let's just wait, and we'll wait until summer so that we can give Summit as much recharge time as possible. Like, maybe that's what it is, the Uzi theory or something like that. But Sandbox aren't going to be playing here. This is all about Afreeca and APK, as Varus and Set have already been banned. We've been seeing a lot of this, a lot of like Senna's getting through, Kallista's getting through, and even Aphelios making it through these drafts. And I feel like Aphelios is just not allowed to be in an LCK game. He's just too damn strong.
We'll see if he does end up getting banned away. Obviously, the meta is sort of getting a little shaky here inside of Korea. There's been a lot more mix-up in round 2, but obviously still some teams are just gravitating towards tried and true things. Kallista, obviously, massive priority in recent matches. So let's see if APK actually does indeed ban her away.
Yeah, and I think
that
that
it's going to be Aphelios. So no matter what, one of them's getting through. Now, they might not ban either and then just try to make a trade.
Do you ever want to trade Kallista for the Aphelios? I don't think you ever do. As now Mystic will be able to pick up Aphelios, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that that's going to be the first pick, and of course that does come in, but what kind of dark technology do APK have to cover for this pick?
Well, there is the Kallista. Will they just immediately pair it with Tark? They will.
And with no Ornn to pick up alongside it or anything like that. I feel like just locking away your combo sounds like a decent idea. Looks like Afreeca are going to go for that flex pick in the Nautilus, most likely pairing it with the Aphelios bottom lane. We've seen this lane so many times. But I still just think it's super dangerous, especially when Mystic is known for late game positioning. Like, yes, his laning phase has been a little bit dicey sometimes. He's been caught out of position in mid games, things like that. But this guy is a team fighting god, and he's on the best team fighting AD carry at the moment. Now.
Syndra is being hovered right now by Afreeca. And one of the initial things I thought was going to happen is when we saw the B1 Aphelios into the R1, R2 Kalista Tark, I thought that we were going to have polarity in the drafts, and in the sense that APK would be hard on engage and Afreeca would try to go the route of hard disengaging. While the Syndra does offer a lot of control and also the both modes. She has the engage, she has a lot of power, she also has the ability to do disengagey things and peel with her Scatter the Weak. APK, they are going to stay par for the course. They're going to lock in Aurelia.
Oh no.
And it's
Do you
a lot of
remember last
aggression.
time Cover played this?
He's been playing Aurelia.
Yeah,
quite a few times now.
It's 0-4-0 Aurelia again. Oh no. Dangerous times. I'm a little bit frightened. I do have some good news on Afreeca's side, though. Just checking over Keen's solo queue. I do like to keep in touch with what he's been doing. He's won 15 of his last games in Challenger in a row. The dude has been, wrecking some face. He hasn't lost in the last 7 days. Just
15 out of what, Alice?
I mean, he's ranked 32 right now. In the solo queue ladder?
15 out of 20.
I mean, it's 15 out of 15.
Oh, what? Oh, okay. I thought the match history is 15 out of 20.
No,
I was about to say that I wasn't
15.
impressed.
Oh, it's pretty impressive.
No.
It's pretty impressive.
All right, I'll say I'm impressed.
Aw, thanks.
That I don't throw you off there, but
We're
APK,
off to a good start.
You know what? We're trying to get back to the Pog state. It's been a little.
We're actually
long.
trying to get the Pog state on YouTube, for God's sake.
Exactly. Poppy, banned away is a bit interesting. APK, they're actually going to lock in the Trundle after Kindred was also banned away. Elise and Maokai getting banned was a bit surprising.
Yeah, now Spirit having a few choices, but the Olaf feels like a less good idea now against the Trundle.
Kiana
Is it the Kiana jungle again? Oh, it looks like it will probably be.
Oh, and Jace potentially being hovered. And at this point, you need a magic damage dealer, so will it just end up being the Zilean up in top lane? But I would imagine that Jace is actually just really good into Zilean.
Yeah, having the ability to use ranged attacks, like, I don't think Zilean's going to have nearly the kind of safety that he's had in Ixu's matchups before, as Sion is the lock-in.
All right, so this is an all-AD team composition out of APK. Now, Kiana shouldn't be able to deal damage in the later stages of the game whatsoever, once it ends up getting there. If Jace builds pure lethality as well, he's going to have a hard time dealing damage. The Targ is also going to make the Kalista pretty tanky, but Afreeca's team composition is as bread and butter basic as you can possibly get. You have the Jace up in top lane, the Syndra in mid lane. Both of these champions conduct themselves in such a similar manner, but APK, all that they're trying to do is resist Afreeca getting too far ahead in the early stages, and if they can do that, they just power right through Afreeca with the Taric ultimate, Aurelia just engaging, Sion. It is so hard for Afreeca to actually hold him off, and this is a bit dicey, even though it is all physical damage. Another thing that we have to be on lookout for here, Atlas, is do we get a Mountain Soul this game? Because that would be spicy.
That would be incredible for APK. Imagine if they let the first 2 Drakes go and then just stack 4 Mountains. There is no way Sion dies, like, ever in this game. Ixu will be just unkillable. But one thing I do really like about Afreeca's draft is that they've got 2 lethality users and Aphelios. So Sion's going to be building armor and building basically only armor, right? Like the rest of the team is, even though they do purely physical damage, they're going to be building for physical damage. So Fly's going to be doing true damage almost this whole game.
Well, see what is going to happen here. Fly, as we step into game number 1, has Exhaust, has the Phase Rush on Syndra as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think he had the Phase Rush last time around, but maybe I'm wrong. Certainly works very well on Syndra, considering the fact that you can cast and move at the same time.
Yeah, he might be going for Proto Belt 800 here. Does have a lot of value against APK's champions. They're all melee, heavy engage emphasis, as we'll see what can happen in mid. Cover has teleport on the Aurelia, press the attack as well. So not going to be Conqueror. And with the teleport, what Cover should obviously look to try to achieve in mid is play an economy game against Syndra's mana pool and look for proper recalls against the Syndra in order to have the leg up in terms of HP and mana sustain, and then convert an experience lead into an advantage against Syndra.
Yeah, and then maybe APK can utilize any sort of push advantage if they can make sure that Fly is backing in optimal times in order to get some skirmishes around this map. Because like you were saying, APK going to be relying on getting advantages as early as possible in order to be on the best standing for a victory. The thing that I'm worried about is right here, because I don't see Keen as having any issues. And speaking of issues, Mystic in trouble on the bottom side, has to use the heal. The Ren doing a lot of work there, but not able to get the kill. But still, this lane is over. Yeah,
this lane is completely gone. Mystic not having teleport available to him. I do believe that Hybrid and Secret got all of the XP, and things are already off to a really rough start. Also, if we want to talk about rough starts, we have Scorch on Fly in the mid lane, and he doesn't have the teleport. There's no chance he should actually be able to kill Cover on this Aurelia. We can see the Jace. I mean, Keen was thinking the right thing. He has the Gathering Storm, probably realizes, hey, I'm not actually going to kill the Sion.
Hey, Mystic's doing the same thing, man. We've got 2 Savants and Fly.
2 Savants and a Sinner.
Yeah, a Sin. Yeah, I'm not gonna even say. You guys know exactly what I was gonna say. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, man. Yeah, we've got that one on lockdown.
Always got your back.
Thanks, dude. Ben and Mystic here towards the bottom side, just doing their very best to try and hold on, but you can see if these pierces keep landing, Hybrid's just going to kill Mystic. He's just feeling real rough here for the bottom lane for Afreeca. But they do get some respite. Flawless was spotted there towards the top side on a ward, and so Ben is able to move up here in this lane. Cover taking a little bit of damage there from Fly, but you can see already trading out his health bar. Flawless duet comes in. Flawless is here, in fact. The Q's not going to land there from Spirit. He's just going to wander his way out, just terror-shaping his way into the brush.
And the thing that's so surprising here is that the Qiyana, she needs to get ahead. It really can't be understated that this isn't a champion that functions well on low economy. She also needs base levels over her opponents. And so what's so surprising is that you know the enemy is going to be stacking armor resistances. And so it's imperative that Spirit actually finds early advantages. You can see he's coming over here now to get the left-hand side Scuttle Crab, but Flawless is just going to eventually be able to outpace this Qiyana inside of the jungle and just be infinitely more valuable. So Spirit is going to have a tall ask on him, but so far, I mean, up in top lane, Keen is finding success on this Jace at the end of it. Ixu actually just giving up 2 CS for nothing, and Aurelia is not collapsing.
Yeah, actually, Keen moving on down here, looking for cover. They really want to give Fly as many advantages as possible here in this game. But Cover, so far, not actually going overly aggressive. This is what the mistake that he made against Damwon, as we're going to check out some stats here for Mystic and Ben. While Ben is taking a lot of damage, Hybrid does get exhausted, but now that ability is not going to be available as Mystic does get the double snare. A lot of damage now. Flash forward as Mystic's looking for Secret. Has to flash. Down almost towards 100 health, and after that auto, he is going to be there So nice fight back here from Afreeca, right as we're going over the stats of Mystic and Ben, the former bottom lane for WE.
And they're doing a really good job at trying to re-salvage the lane state down in bottom. Hybrid at about 60% HP right now down here, and missing some of the CS, actually.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate.
Mystic and Ben, they've almost managed to get the crash off down here in bot lane. Flawless looking like he's about to come over. He places the control ward first, though. And Spirit is here, unbeknownst to them. And things are actually just restabilized right now down here in bot lane.
Yeah, Afreeca actually pretty happy with how this has turned out, all things considered. Mystic will have the heal back available relatively soon, as Ben's missing both of his summoner spells, but if you look over the other side, it's just Hybrid's Flash that they have available. So no barrier, no heal, and it's going to get more and more dicey here for APK over the next few minutes. As Fly just slinking off to the side, Cover taking a bit of damage there from the Q.
He's doing such a good job. Trundle just got 4 AD from the Dragon, so almost half of a longsword, but Cover's doing such a good job. This is the economy war that Cover's able to play against Fly. He still has his teleport available. He was able to get off a really valuable recall, had his lane on his side of the wave as he dings 6, and makes it so that Fly's not able to walk up. As we pan to top lane, Ixu...
He's not having the greatest time, is he?
No, he still hasn't really found his groove up here in top lane. He does still have 2 biscuits yet to recall. Probably going to pick up the Bramble Vest, I would imagine, as the first item. And once he has Bramble Vest and Ninja Tab, the lane is just completely over for Jace, and then Kiana is not going to have any value ganking.
Well, also not able to steal away the Rift Scuttler here towards the bottom side, as Spirit gets rid of yet another control ward in this brush. Hybrid and Secret doing okay, though. They have the lane in a decent state, as Mystic and Ben are going to shoot back. But complete stabilization of the lane state here for the bottom lanes, so not going to see too much. And you can see as the dust settles, I mean, Hybrid is still ahead by about a wave. So the Callista is in a pretty decent spot right now, and able to land a nice pierce there as well.
Still ahead in the CS department is Hybrid right now. Trundle still in close proximity, and this is just giving them freedom to try to pressure Ben and Mystic. As it stands right now, though, Flawless just sort of running around in the jungle. Spirit not finding any success early on, and when this ends up happening, the Kiana's going to show up in mid-game and mostly just be an R-bot that doesn't really deal any damage. Everyone should be relatively tanky. Spirit does know about Ixu. Ward just placed down. And this is all the APK actually needs to do. They just have to have a very stable early game. As Aurelia looking to make a play down here with Flawless.
Yeah, Mystic already down to half health underneath this turret as well. As you can see, they clear out all of the minions and not actually going to go for any potential dive. This Cover's level 7, but not able to go any more aggressive, as Mystic just puts down a defensive ward. And look, I think that the defensive play on both sides has actually been pretty impressive, especially here towards the bottom side for Afreeca. Keen going to steal away a red buff, and taking advantages where they can find them are both of these teams right now. So a much higher level game than I think we were expecting from APK versus Afreeca, especially after Afreeca had the rough one against KT in, what was it, yesterday or the day before's matches.
Yeah, so Afreeca, I mean, they're going... Okay, well, as you say that, Atlas, I do believe that you might have jinxed it.
I may have just a little bit. Good dredge line gets Ben out of the way, but a flash immediately comes forward. Vanguard's Edge avoided by Mystic, but Cover's underneath the turret right now. Secret tanks it up just enough, and APK get 2 swift kills. I am so sorry for the jinx.
You know what? I can't believe that you did that, and there's not a jinx in the game, Atlas. You need to get your eyes checked.
Oh, that's a good point.
We go back to mid lane.
I do like the Pokemon, though.
Ooh, you're a man of culture.
Oh, thanks, man.
Jinx is,
man.
you know, Jinx was, she was okay as a Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I like Smoochum. Do you remember Smoochum, the baby version?
Yes, Smoochum is very
adorable.
Nice. Yes,
just adorable.
Absolutely adorable, yes.
Good stuff. All right, I'm glad we're on the same page
really
there.
good
So
taste.
we're jinxing in multiple different ways, and hopefully one of our teams here today is going to jinx as well. I know it's a pick that you have been looking for so far in the LCK, and we haven't quite found her. As Spirit and Fly over here are going to be able to take down the Herald, and I'd actually really like to see Spirit stick around for some of the plates for this one. You mentioned how important it is for Qiyana to stay ahead of the curve, well, a Rift Herald certainly is a decent way to accelerate your jungler. So we'll see where he goes. As we have a look at this one more time.
So Ben and Mystic are just walking up, and they don't respect the Fog of War play, and they probably think that they're completely safe because Teleport doesn't end up coming in. But it's just really all that she wrote. Mystic ends up flashing, and it's all for naught. Secret tanking up the turret damage cover, even though he missed the Vanguard's edge, still able to pick up the kill on the Aurelia. And he's also doing such a good job in mid lane.
Yeah, this is a completely different cover this time around. Last time we saw this against Showmaker, he got crushed. Like, the Aurelia did absolutely nothing. But this time, he is controlling the waves, even against a ranged opponent. It's really, really impressive. And here, Hybrid already taken 2 turret plates here towards the bottom side. And yes, they've been getting a lot of attention, but they've been turning it into success. So really impressive here from APK.
Spirit not able to find anything early on. Blade of the Ruined King going to be complete for both mid and bot lane soon. As Ixu, remember, the way that Sion versus Jace is measured is not by how much Sion or how much CS Sion necessarily has. It's how close in how close in CS is Sion to the Jace. It's always relative to the Jace. If you're really close with them, it doesn't matter if you don't have a lot, because Jace will end up just being less effective. He is actually going Black Cleaver, so that is a really smart buy by Keen, because Qiyana's going to need help. She's going to get lethality items. Aphelios is going to need help. There's going to be so much armor to shoot through. This Mountain Drake is huge.
Yeah, well, it's already been started here by Afreeca. Fair bit of damage onto Secret there, but he does have the Cosmic Radiance as Ixu's fighting 3 people, and he will be going down. Mystic grabs that kill. The Drake is stolen away here by Afreeca, as now Secret not able to get the ultimate. Hybrid and Flawless not able to utilize it either, as the Scion Ghost is going to do absolutely nothing. Hybrid flashed on over the wall, and Afreeca are demolishing this team fight. Cover gets 1, but now Flawless is running for the hills, and Flash should be able to find the slows, and the CC is going to be enough. Flawless does get a decent flash there as he gets over the wall, but not going to be able to find Scat of the Week or anything like that. Still a great trade for Afreeca, and they get the Drake.
They end up getting the Dragon, and they almost get an entire ace on APK, and now Rift Herald being spawned in mid lane. Jace,
oh my god, Keen gets all of the gold? Are you serious?
Keen's going to get all of the gold on this Jace, and that's going to help him move into the split push mode. And we haven't had real split pushing in the LCK in a really long time. As we take a look at how this all transpires, Hybrid actually messes up on the blast code, doesn't end up going over the wall. Flawless loses the smite fight against Spirit, and on the left-hand or the right-hand side, Ixu just dying really early. Spirit gets killed before the ultimate can end up finishing, and so not the best situation for them. This was a really decisive moment in this game. If APK could have managed to get the Mountain Dragon and then also go somewhat even inside of this team fight, it would have been disastrous for Afreeca transitioning into the mid game. As the turret plates are going to start to fall, we do have a spicy dragon though, Atlas. It is Ocean.
Oh my god, and both of these teams available to get 3 stacks of it, as well as now Ben once again caught out of position. Mystic puts the turret down. Fair bit of damage availability here with the Crescendum and the Calibrum, but not enough to get any work done, and he just doesn't have the items at this point in the game. APK fire back already.
Well, Sion up here in top lane, and again, it's not the end of the world, team composition considered. You do have to remember, there's the Bramble Vest.
Yeah, good knock up there as Ixu is going to even out the health bar with Keen. It's a difficult fight anyway, but you can see Keen's still able to stack up this Black Cleaver. And this is where things get a little bit dangerous for Ixu.
Yeah, Ixu making a really questionable trade. The initial one was okay. I thought he would eventually turn back around. Black Cleaver was obviously fully stacked at that point, and Jace also had the red buff.
Well, now Keen's going 1v3. Does manage to get his acceleration gate for the movement speed, but now Flawless is caught up to him. Doesn't have Pillar anymore, and Keen will be going down big money over to cover, and that's a huge mistake from Afreeca.
Yeah, Aurelia getting the gold here is really massive. She's already so big right now. 20 CS lead, has 3 kills on herself. I believe even a turret plate. And yeah, okay, we're actually, as I say that, turret plate gold is showing up. 1 turret plate in mid captured, 2 in bottom, but only 2 of them registered for APK.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there. I believe the mid lane wasn't actually taken. I think Hybrid got all of the gold for his, as his Blade of the Ruin King is completed, looking to complete his boots now as he goes back home. Berserker's Greave is so important for the Calista, for her mobility, and is going to be able to secure them right here as we have a look at this gank once again.
See the bot lane, APK just setting this up against Ben. Pillar wasn't as clean as it could have been, but it didn't even matter. Calista just had way too much damage, and then immediately after that, Flawless just running in onto the Jace. Really good Pillar. And Keen not having Flash available. You can see Fly a little bit too late, and there's no way for him to do anything without expending his Flash, but then he would probably end up going down shortly thereafter. So APK now, they're on the jump to top lane, trying to initiate a lane swap. Now, there's no turret plates up here, so it's a little bit questionable because Ocean Dragon is so important, as Aphelios actually doesn't deal damage to Sion.
No. The Dragonine's going to come in, though. They're going to continue trying to fight this one out. As speaking of fights, there's one in the mid lane cover, able to trade it back really nicely. It's a 1-for-1, though, as Keen gets another kill. Ixu is just dead on the bottom side, gets exhausted. Decimating Smash does nothing, and the zombie will clear out a minion wave. But APK, in the meantime, are getting to work on Shirley as Afreeca are pushing down there in a turret.
So Afreeca are trying to get a lot of chip damage here onto the mid-tier 2. Hybrid sort of just running along back into mid lane. He's going to be able to heal most of this back up, also with the assistance of the Tara kills coming in. And Ocean Dragon is up in 10 seconds. Flawless is running towards top lane, and I think they're going to summon Shirley in top with the Aurelia. So not prioritizing the Ocean Dragon at all, which is so surprising. And
That's
I think
very strange.
They're anticipating is that Fly and Keen have both been on the map for a little while, and they don't anticipate that they would just immediately run over to top lane. But obviously, that is going to be a bit of a mistake. Cover is still up here, still haven't summoned the Rift Herald, so I'm scratching my head right now, Atlas. I'd
like to see it spawn here in the mid lane, because if they can use that tempo advantage, get 2 outer turrets, and open up the map like this, they shouldn't have to give up any more Drakes, and they should be able to use this to snowball. But currently they don't have a lead or anything like that, as the gold is going to go over to APK and does push them up to even. But even's not what they're looking for, and Afreeca would be super happy to keep stacking up these Drakes.
We'll take a look at how this all transpired. That was actually a beautiful stun by Cover onto Fly. He immediately Blade Surges right back in, and then Keen, an absolute cheater, much like Vegeta hitting Cell, right over the edge on the Jaces. The bot lane trade was honestly one of the most perplexing. Ixu just initiating the trade onto Mystic as my stream just died.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're going to continue trading. This is Sion just dying. So you're not missing too much right now. We've seen this one before. As, yeah, he just clears up minion wave as his zombie form. Are you back yet? Have you got it?
I am not back yet, Atlas. But...
Oh dear. Doesn't matter. You can just use use your incredible analytical skill to just predict what happened in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I've been casting this whole time with my monitor off. I sensed that the stream did go down.
You're like Yoda.
It's not a big deal.
LCK Yoda over here.
I'm lost sight as it is, so.
That's a good point. How are your eyes feeling? Are you feeling a little bit better?
They're actually completely fine now, yeah. So it definitely just was overstrain.
Oh, that's fantastic. See, it was a good idea to give you a couple of days off.
Yeah, that was nice.
All right. I'm glad at least there's something positive that's come out of it on your side as well, because I think everyone was happy to listen to what did, but I think also missed their analyst of 2020 LCK for every single game.
Well, glad to be back in the mix for these best of threes. You went the distance yesterday.
Yeah, we did. My brain was done at the end of that. Thankfully, we had some pretty good games to end the night, but my God, finishing at 12:30 midnight was not ideal after starting at 3 p.m.
That is, it's a long day.
Oh, it is.
It's absolutely a long day, as we are in for a long lull stage until the Ocean Dragon.
Oh dear. So I guess you can talk to me about the shows that you were watching while you had some time off. Did they consist of LEC and LCS? Is that the shows that you were watching?
I did watch LCS and LEC. Those were nice. We did get to see some nice games out of both regions, but I almost finished Better Call Saul.
Oh,
We're gonna fight in mid.
And we've also got a fight bottom lane, as there's Blade of the Ruin King and Black Cleaver here, as Keen boots back Ixu. He's going to flash, and Spirit's going to interrupt the ultimate, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The flash forward from Keen, and they will secure the kill. The rest of APK are moving on over. Flawless, he's looking for the correct pillar as the Fate's Call comes down just to close distance. But the Dazzle does find Spirit in the end. He will have Terror Shape. Oh my god, the ulti around the dead turret. Now Keen thinks this is his opportunity to strike. Spirit gets a second kill, and Flawless has to flash. Afreeca have taken this game by the horns.
Yeah, they're really in control right now down in bot lane, and honestly, I have no idea what APK was just thinking. In the replay, I was about to say that even though Ixu ends up dying, I think that it's actually bad for Afreeca, because they trade the flash off of Ixu, but they lose Jace and Kiana's flash in doing so, which means that the next Ocean Dragon fight should have been able to go to APK quite handily, as take a look at how this all transpires. Ixu randomly shoving out that lane. He's got a hot date to go to, so it's imperative that he do it right away rather than waiting for the wave to come to him. And then right here, Spirit ends up flashing as well to interrupt the Scion ultimate. Keen follows just after, and here I'm thinking, okay, this is actually really bad for Afreeca. They invested too many key ultimates for not a whole lot of gold, but then APK, not to be outdone. They cue the music, they go in, and Afreeca just turns it right on their head.
And so many flashes now on cooldown as they use Taric Flash and the Trundle Flash just so that they could get a couple of deaths on their team. And that's not exactly a trade that you're looking for, guys. You can do that math, that's only negatives. As APK are set up here around this Drake as it's spawning in 10 seconds time. You can see Umbral Glaive already completed here by Spirit. He's got a secondary serrated Dirk as well, so the lethality is starting to stack up, but so is the armor. Trundle and this Scion in the hands of Ixu. Certainly not going to be taking too much lethality damage. But that's why Keen's gone for this build. I actually really like this split-pushing Jace build in this instance, because he can still fight the armor stackers, as APK still just trying to hold vigil around this Ocean Drake.
Cover actually taking a lot of damage by the Shock Blast. Going to be able to heal it all the way back up, though. Honeycrew is a pretty good effect on the map, as Ocean is being started now by APK.
Yeah, utilizing the brush here.
Now, this is a really awkward fight to take right now from this angle by APK. Pillar comes out actually a little too early. I think Spirit's just going to go,
yeah, good knockup there from Ixu, but interrupted on the Decimating Smash. Spirit is going to go into stealth, but it's not going to save him. Cover grabs yet another kill. Ulti comes through from Fly, but now he doesn't have that tool, and Cover goes golden. A double kill now for Hybrid. This game is so back and forth, LS. It's insane. Feels like whenever someone wins something, the other team's going to win the next one.
So right here, if Secret still had Flash available, Mystic and Keen would both be really doomed at this stage of the game. It would be a really free Baron. They'd never be able to walk up. Secret would just be able to flash stun. But remember, this is a byproduct of the bottom lane trade onto Ixu, where Keen used his Flash, Spirit used his Flash as well. APK, they bust this game wide open. And now, they're starting the Baron. They have a Kalista with the Ren. Spirit is not going to be able to get here.
Yeah,
this is going to be Baron
go down. Yeah, Mystic's trying to do what he can. Ixu taking a fair bit of damage, but the Dazzle comes down. The Baron is secured. Mystic's going to die. And now Keen looking in desperation to try and get a team fight. Ben and Spirit will turn up, but now the rest of APK are on the run. Good stun, great Shock Blast. But that's all they're going to get as Cover, the only one to go down. I believe APK should be able to make it to safety. Keen will find Hybrid and Flawless here. This is not what you want as Hybrid going to survive, but the Jace does get the kill with the help of the red buff. Ixu over to the side, just trying to keep Spirit and Ben busy. And yep, they trade a couple of kills, but there's still 3 Barons left in this game.
And so the Barons being up for APK, it's also the XP and the gold. Let's take a look at the replay here. Ixu just barely managing to not collide with that wall, knocks up Spirit for so long. Cover eventually getting on to both. Ends up having to use his immediate flash, though. Spirit Fly goes over the wall, tries to kill Cover, also utilizes his exhaust, not able to do it, and Keen can't approach the fight. He doesn't have the flash, he can't commit himself. Follow-up Baron. is Mystic and Keen trying to do whatever they possibly could to win this, as Baron eventually does get consumed, and Mystic getting locked up there by the Taric, not able to do anything. Hybrid did get really low, as Keen was on the chase against APK. Cover did eventually get brought down. I'm not sure how much longer the replay is going to go. There is the kill by Bramblebeck, as Keen just jumps onto Hybrid, and then honestly Red Buff just says Broken Shard lives.
Oh my god, okay, Fate's Call is going to save the Taric. That's why you never use your R button if you're Syndra on the Fate's Call target. That's silly, because that's going to get popped pretty comfortably, as APK have a tiny gold advantage, but still have a minute of Baron.
And one of the things that's actually so surprising here is there is no magic damage on the side of APK. Okay, outside of Subjugate and some coming from certain abilities, but basically they're all AD as well, and Syndra has a Banshee's Veil as the second item. It is. Now, she's trying to obviously block certain key abilities, but what it ends up doing is it just basically, you get the passive and you get the raw AP, and then you get nothing else really from that, and it's able to actually be popped pretty easily in standoffs by APK, so the item just makes no sense whatsoever, as APK are so far ahead.
Yeah, Keen actually taking a bit of damage there from cover as well, and will actually be forced away from this inner turret. The rest of APK are going to turn up. They'll secure this one. Flawless in the meantime is in the mid lane prepping this minion wave, and he still has the Baron rotating for another 3 seconds. As Ixu gonna get snared, but he basically doesn't care at this point. He's got the Gargoyle's Stone Plate, and still sitting on that Bramble Vest. We'll see what he's going to build as his next item. Just a lot available here for APK as this game goes on. You can see Keen doing his very best to hard carry, but I just don't know whether it's going to be enough at this stage.
No, I don't think that it's going to be enough either. Jace is starting to decay against this APK team composition at this point. APK should be able to get the next Ocean Dragon, and if you remember, the Rip Herald play in top lane, teleporting cover top, it's so surprising. This could have been potentially Ocean Soul for APK. As Atlas, it is finally hitting me why Syndra has the Banshee's Veil. It's for the magic damage on the Thorn Mail that Ixu eventually completes. Yeah, it's 5-head wine glassed it.
Oh, we're so silly. And also dazzle damage, which is very important to mitigate.
Now you're understanding. The corrupting potion ticks.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've had a day off. You know, I had a long day yesterday. You can understand why we've missed a few things. So I think it's completely fine. As APK looking to try and set up for this Drake. It's going to need to be another team fight, though, and you've got Mystic with both of the weapons that he wants in these scenarios. Poke advantage here with Afreeca as well, with Jace and the long-range Aphelios, but Spirit looking for the side. He's going to dive on over another choo-choo train right into the front line this time. Spirit's going to survive, looking for the ultimate, does get a few stuns, but the dragon is still available. It's secured by the Ren, but now Afreeca needs to win the team fight. Cover manages to get one of them onto Ben, but Spirit's going to get rid of Hybrid, and now Mystic trying to fight around this fight. Ixu is going to go down low, but he's not the target they're looking for. Flawless is just going to get the hell out of here as cover. Can't get into the back line. He's got the GA. He'll respawn once again, but he's in amongst 4 members of Afreeca, and they will win this team fight.
In APK, they end up getting the Ocean Dragon, but at what cost? They end up losing 3 of their members. It ends up being a 3-for-1. Now, a lot of key summoners did just come out. Their death timers aren't big enough, and so at the end of the day, they have a good mid wave, they have a good top wave, and Atlas, as weird as it sounds, I feel like APK made out, and the reason that I'm saying that is because Afreeca losing these summoners for the Baron fight is going to be really scary, and them getting extra little bits of gold right now doesn't really change the course of these team fights. So APK is going to be able to bring the game to Soul Point over an Ocean Dragon. They should have the advantage at the Baron. As we take a look at this team fight, Sion goes into it. Now Afreeca did a really good job at wrangling APK inside of this fight. Keen doing so much to try to zone out the right-hand side. Ixu trying to lock up Keen on the right-hand side. Fly doing a really good job at trying to handle cover, but he flashes over the wall. Spirit doing enormous amounts of damage. Keen eventually makes his way back into the fight. Cover has his Guardian Angel, which he does lose, so that is going to be a key point at the Baron fight. Fly times the Scatter of the Week really well. Mystic ends up picking up the kill. Gold score still really even, which does mean that APK's champions are a lot stronger at this point in the game. Infernal Dragon also should be outscaling the Mountain Drake at this current point in time, and things are scary. Baron's live.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether APK can set up the vision around it. Right now, you can see Afreeca do have a clear walkway over to this Baron. Cover is going to be there to try and at least grab some attention on this Baron. Puts it in there. He's going to be absolutely fine. The rest of APK now set up. Zombie wards are dying. There's a cheeky ward just outside of the Baron pit right here. And that's not going to be seen until the sweeper comes on over. And so now things getting very dark for Afreeca.
So one of the really interesting things is APK actually doesn't have to start the Baron. I'm not sure if they will, as Keen does check a brush. They know that now APK is not on it, but...
Oh, great stun.
Oh, man.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Syndra, that was a four-man...
Four-man scatter the week with one orb is pretty impressive.
Do you think she's insulting them when it says scatter the week?
Yeah, maybe. Although, theoretically, she's only scattering the orb, so maybe it's just the orb that's weak.
All right.
I'm not entirely sure. And you're not supposed to actually use Scatter the Weak on the enemy champions because it doesn't stun. So it's a weird naming convention there, and probably not used to be toxic or anything like that. Is APK clear out the minion wave in mid lane, and Afreeca are going to do exactly the same thing. A lot of posturing right now as the K-Ram River Ram is upon us. Sort of both at the same time right now.
This sort of a stalemate, it gets a little bit scary. You take a look at APK, and Flawless and Cover both don't have their flash. Obviously really valuable on Cover. Keen trying to do a lot of initial poke. Lots of Black Cleaver stacks onto the Scion.
Ixu doesn't seem to care too much about this whatsoever. He's augmented his build with another giant spell. The flat health is certainly starting to build up, and APK not actually taking too much poke damage right here. And when they're against a Jace that's this strong, then it's pretty impressive that they're able to just shrug off Shock Blast damage like this.
And 50 seconds until Ocean Dragon, and this posturing, again, the onus isn't on APK to really start anything, it's on Afreeca. And Ixu might just be biting off a little bit more than he should want to chew. Wastes the Righteous Glory active. Cover is going to get poked up as well, and this is just a stalemate right now. 30 seconds until Ocean, and APK is on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, they might just be thinking about a trade, because of course if they give away the Ocean Drake, it's not like an Ocean Soul is coming. So they do theoretically have an advantage, as Ixu's now going to be the Bastion of Secret. But APK holding on to minion waves, trying to get into position to fight, and it looks like that's what they want. As Keen caught out of position. Oh no, this is a disaster for Afreeca, but he does go golden. Cosmic Radiance is going to keep everyone alive. Big ultimate from Spirit, but it's only going to be the CC as they were still immortal. Then over to the side, Hybrid is going to use his stopwatch though as Cover grabs that first kill. And most importantly, it's onto the Aphelios. Fly, nowhere to go, but does get a Scatter the Week as Flawless comes through and chomps him. APK haven't lost anyone just yet, and Keen and Spirit the last men standing here on Afreeca's side. I think that APK may have just done it.
Yeah, I think APK have won this game. Keen is running for his life, but the game's just reached that stage where APK are so tanky with the Taric ultimate, with the Taric connection, as well as just all of the items right now. Guardian Angel giving so much armor as well. You look at Scion, and he is such a beefy boy inside of this game. Stoneplate on Trundle, Cinderhulk as well. And you just consider the way that APK team fights, and it's really hard for Afreeca to really do anything because there's so much pressure on a Syndra that essentially doesn't have any items. He has a Banshee Veil and a GLP 800, as well as an Aether Wisp. as Keen, he gets caught out uncharacteristically, having to flash back into the Vanguard's edge. He ends up having to kite backwards with Spirit. Spirit doesn't get a good ultimate off. As the Target Stun comes out, Hybrid goes golden, and you can see that what Fly's trying to do is bring down Hybrid. Keen eventually makes a turn onto Hybrid with the Shock Blast. He gets out of the team fight because he's very low on HP, wants to heal back up with Blade of the Ruin King, and also keep the pressure up in the midway before turning the attention over to the Ocean Drake. And at the end of it, APK now with Ocean Soul Atlas. I don't think it's possible to lose with this Dragon.
Well, I mean, APK have done pretty impossible things in the past when it comes to losing games, so we'll have to see what they have in store for us. But you're exactly right. Right now, they've been caught out of position. Ben is just dead, guys. There is nothing that he can do. Gargoyle's Stoneplate, or no Gargoyle's Stoneplate cover is going to Blade Surge over to him. And I feel like Afreeca's teamfight positioning has just been awful. In like the last 10 minutes of this game, they've just been caught out of position going for these weird sort of double flanking pincer maneuvers that they haven't been able to control.
Well, does seem like mid inhibitor is going to go down, and APK are immediately shifting their attention towards the Baron. They have the Sweeper Lens active right now. They're just looking for any sort of vision and wards. And okay, well, that is a pretty cheesy play. Taken. But all the vision inside of the river means that Afreeca should be able to deduce that something like that was a loop.
Yeah, it looks like APK are going towards this Baron. Teleport right back in here from cover, who does spend the last remainder of his gold. They know that this is going to be a fight. Big ulti's going to get a few stuns there from Spirit as cover into the backline and immediately down to his G8. Ixu is going to smash his head into the wall, but otherwise not get too much. Is now Mystic. Free hitting in the backline, but there's the Cosmic Radiance. Goodbye, Mr. Aphelios. As APK, they have won the war of attrition. They are so incredibly tanky. Like, APK missed half of their abilities that team fight, but it didn't matter.
It was one of the sloppiest fights. They just sort of fell and let gravity take over.
Yeah, exactly right. The only acceleration they need is 9.8, boys. That's all. Because they just move. Like, that's what happens. You know, gravity's employed. Their red side, they just move down towards the enemy nexus. It was inevitable from the beginning. As that's a good stun onto Spirit. He's going to die. As Hybrid's going to get that last couple of autos. Fly is going to get decimated, and the nexus is going to go down. APK with a Game 1 victory.
And APK, we said this in the draft select, that their team comp is really, really tanky. And in the later stages, even though they're all AD, the Syndra, the Jace, the Qiyana, I mean, the Qiyana would end up coming back to bite Afreeca because she doesn't deal damage. She needs to be ahead. She needs her lethality items. And when the enemy team is stacking resistances, things just get really scary.
Yeah. And I didn't mind, you know, the Syndra pick just in general, but I think you're right talking about the itemization. I think he needed to go for more flat damage so that he could just explode one of the carries on the side of APK. But I do need to shout out cover. I mean, this guy had a woeful Aurelia performance against Damwon earlier on, and he turned it around with a CS advantage throughout the entire early game against a Syndra. Not exactly the easiest thing to lane against. It was just very impressive by him as a turnaround performance here this game.
I would definitely give my MVP over to cover as well, as he put on a clinic in mid lane, laning phase, lane kingdom, Fly.
Yeah.
And some people might talk about it in regards to the matchup. Obviously, Aurelia can clip the Syndra and just get on top of her, regardless of Scout of the Week. But the later stage team fights as well, he had some really nice stuns on the Aurelia. Also some good Vanguard's Edge. He did whiff that one Vanguard's Edge down about him, but
I mean, that was a whiff, but it was also flashed. So I think it's fine. I'm not going to give him too much of a hard time for that one. This is a pretty cute play from Spirit, blocking the ultimate from Ixu, but in the end, honestly, it felt like APK had drafted this comp and they managed to get to Ocean Soul with some burly tanks. And when you've got that plus Cosmic Radiance, I mean, I don't know, man. Comp-wise, they were just very, very good, and Mystic wasn't allowed to play the game on the, yes, very overpowered Aphelios, but if you've just got a Scion that can walk at you and you can't really do anything about it, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. As APK just marched on in this team fight, Fly tried to flash over the wall right here, and just didn't have the best Syndra game. This was mostly just a Syndra that was trying to wave clear endlessly, but it never really felt like that giant mage carry. And Mystic also just having a very off game as well in terms of his positioning, constantly getting clipped by the Taric in so many of the team fights. And one of the things that does worry me is Ixu, he wasn't that off inside of laning phase, but in the later stages of the game, barring some of his ultimates, he really did look forgetful about how some of the fights would end up panning out in terms of extended team fights, and it almost ended up costing them a little bit in some of the mid-game transitions. But
yeah, the thing that I did like about how Ixu played was that everyone followed him. I mean, regardless of whether it was the right choice or the wrong choice, it didn't really matter. It felt like APK was still on the same page, and they had a lot of different opportunities to mess things up, and still their composition and their dragons were going to save them. So I didn't mind it, but I think you're right. I think there were some blunders, especially in the laning phase, where it just randomly died for no reason, walking into 2 people.
See what game number 2 can have in store for us. As honestly, it does make me a little bit worried because Afreeca, they drafted proactively even though they saw bits and pieces. Now, maybe they don't anticipate the Scion coming out inside of this game, but everything else was pretty face up by them, and so I am curious how they're going to utilize the red side, and this was the really sloppy team fight. It's like a sloppy Joe sandwich, if you ever had one of those, Atlas.
No, I have not, but it sounds sloppy. It sounds pretty sloppy.
Absolutely is. Look it up during the break.
All right. I don't know whether I want to. I'm a little bit frightened, but APK off to a great start so far in this series, despite the fact that Keen did do a lot of damage. I feel like most of that damage was done towards a Scion, and honestly, damage numbers don't really mean anything against an Ocean Soul, because you saw it in the last team fight. I mean, Cover went down to his GA, popped back up, ran around in circles for a few seconds, and he was at full health. So, yeah, it's not exactly balanced, to be perfectly honest. But that is going to do it for game number 1. We are going to have a short break, and then when we get back, we'll see whether APK can do what we may have thought was the impossible and 2-0 Afreeca Freecs. They just came off a 2-0 against Sandbox. Crazier things have happened, and we'll see whether it does after the break.